Welcome to Legion Baseball in the South Hennepin League. I'm John Fromm, and along with head coach Jim Nunn, we're going to bring you tonight's South Hennepin matchup between the defending state champion Edina Hornets and the St. Louis Park Railcats. Jim, happy to have you join me tonight.
Hey, thanks a lot for having me.
Yeah, we should mention Jim, longtime head coach at Minnetonka, and just finished his first year with the Oriole program, and we had a chance to watch Archie Olson, your assistant son, in the last game. So Ryan Fromm will be on the mound today for the Orioles. Mitchell Thomas is catching, and for the Hornets, Stephen Kalina, the junior second baseman, will lead it off.
This is the matchup I wanted to see during the high school year, but for some reason the rain kept coming on our Edina game days.
Yeah, was it like 2 or 3 times or something? Yeah, I was going to say, well, as we mentioned, this was last year's state champions from Edina, and they're loaded again. I know they just walked through the Delano tournament 5-0. Ground ball hit to Jaramillo. Joey, little mishandle on that, and he is going to be safe, unfortunately. So a little E4 to start things out. And
yeah, Stevie's a quick player. I had him when he was a 9th grader when I was coaching 9th grade ball at Edina.
Oh, okay.
He puts things on the ground. He can fly. So can this Will Vanderbilt.
Yeah, Will Vanderbilt. And they're both just going to have another year left, right? Because they both, and I think they both played somewhat through the blizzard and whatnot. So I know good lead over there at first. Thomas with a nice throw down. But unfortunately, big lead for Kalina, and that's something Ryan will have to try to use a slide step or mix things up on the mound today. So,
yeah, I think I'm not sure if the umpire called that a strike, but it looked like Will took a little swing at it to keep the Mitchell back.
Yeah, it was a good idea. See if he pulls one on the ground here to try to move him to third. So some mixtures with the Orioles. We mentioned Cole Hoyt is out, who's been the regular center fielder the whole year. He had a hamstring pull. And Joe Burnley back, but unable to throw. He's playing third today, so that'll move, I think, the count along to 2-1. Around the infield, Lucas Savage, Brose, Jaramillo, and Burnley for the Orioles.
It's a good group of kids. They played really well during the high school year on the infield. Now, Joe played right field for us on high school, so I haven't seen him on the infield.
Yeah, exactly. I saw him play. Ryan up with a lot early in the game. We'll have to see here what they mix up here. So that'll bring up the first of the H boys. This is Matthew Hopner, who's a great pitcher and hitter, and I think heading to Northwestern of the Big Ten on to pitch. And I've seen him hit really good as well too. So
I think he was picked one of the, if not the most outstanding player in the Lake Conference. Yeah,
I've seen him and Mark Hanberg, who's on deck, really can crush the ball quite well. And pretty good crowd on hand for a Tuesday night here. Beautiful 8:30 game and nice weather this time of the year.
Still a little sticky, but it should be good for Ryan to stay loose.
See if anybody's going to cover first. Nobody there, unfortunately.
Well, that can be a little bit with Joe being new to the infield.
Right.
Communication. That's kind of what we stressed all high school year. Talk to each other.
And that'll load the bases here as that infield chopper. That was a major league chopper. I don't know if that hit off the plate or if it's a nice job making contact with a curveball. So that'll load it up with nobody out here for Mark Hanberg, who I just found out before the game. I know he's a great quarterback as well, and I just found out he's going to Nebraska Omaha to play Division I baseball next year.
Good for him.
Swing and a miss, coming home. Let's see, any throw?
Oh. That would have hurt.
Yeah, if he would have thrown that, he would have hit him right in the back here. So Kalina comes home on the, guess will we call that a wild pitch, Jim? Or
yeah, it would be a wild pitch. It's in the dirt.
He offered at it for strike one. That'll move Vanderbilt up to second and Hopner down, or Vanderbilt over to third and Hopner down to second.
Now St. Louis Park's playing the infield back, trying to keep away from a big inning.
Yeah, nobody out yet, we should mention. So Lucas Savage at third. Brose, who does a lot of pitching, is at short. That ball crushed into right field. Hit hard, and that's going to bring another run in here as Foltz with a nice job on the squeeze. Not able to do much more with that, and Vanderbilt will come home here as Hanberg hits a line drive sac fly to right. Get a little RBI there. And here's Spencer Egley. I've seen him pitch in the past. He plays around a lot, doesn't he, for them? Or
You know, Spencer, I haven't seen much. He goes to St. Paul Academy during the school year.
Oh, okay. Like Danny Beer then, too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Danny's at St. Thomas Academy, I believe.
Okay, so he would have been maybe a teammate of Matt Fiedler then, who was at St. Paul Academy this year and is going to the Gophers. Okay, he's a good kid.
Yep.
See, if Ryan needs to mix up his changeup as well as his curve. He did throw only a handful of changeups in his last game, and that'll be something he'll need today.
What's important for Ryan is to keep his motion together. He sometimes gets in a situation where he tries to rush forward, and when he rushes, his ball stays up.
Stays elevated. Yeah, and sometimes, too, he gets too much over in here, so when he throws his curves, he's not on top of it either, too. And
but I would tell you, there's nobody else I would rather want to have on the mound right now than Ryan.
yeah, I know he really looks forward to these games, too, be it Hopkins or Eden Prairie last year, or, you know, I know Cole's just probably chomping at the bit, wishing he could play, too. He's such a competitor. Going right along at a ball in 2 strikes to Egley.
Yeah,
nice job hanging on to that curveball. He barely made contact with that, but
yeah.
Good job. Yeah, we saw a lot of these kids when they were really young in Little League, when Edina was still playing Little League, I don't know, 6, 7 years ago. And I remember we played against Matt Hoffner, pitched against us one time. And
yeah, our Little League, it's kind of come and gone in Edina.
Right, they're just more to
traveling.
Yep.
So I think one of the things Ryan does well for our high school pitcher is he does change his speeds and he does change his location quite well. I think his coaches next year are going to be pretty excited to have him.
Well, he just loves the competition too, and playing in the field and batting, and he's really had a great experience here at Park. Just a little high with, little high with his curveball there. But good to see him go to that with a 2-2, or maybe mix things up here.
And his college coach will probably get him to the point that he'll be throwing that on 3-2.
Right.
Throwing his changeup on 3-2.
Right, exactly.
There he's trying to do too much.
Yeah, he's trying to overthrow. So second walk of the inning is going to make it first and third here as Hoffner skedaddles down to third. And that'll bring up Mitch Larson, who's pitching today and also a good hitter. He, as well as Handberg, is going to Nebraska Omaha to play baseball next year. There's 2 guys that going to Omaha, 1 to Northwestern. Bears going to Princeton, and then I can't. Somebody else is maybe going Division II, I'd heard. So I couldn't keep track of it all. So.
Yeah, I haven't. Living in Edina, I'm trying to keep up on some of the stuff, but like Danny's played at St. Thomas Academy, we haven't followed him too close.
Right. Right. Well, and I've seen, is it Grove or Grovey? Catcher? Yeah, I don't know if he just graduated, I think, too, didn't he?
He did, and he's got a younger brother, a 15-year-old.
Yeah, he's a good
on the
ball
Legion
player.
team. Yeah, he's on the Legion team. If they need relief, he'll probably be one of the ones to come in.
Good throw through. Unfortunately, a low throw, but a nice scoop by Brose there. Egley able to steal second there. Mitch able to field that cleanly. Nice job by Brose. So only 1 down, second and third, and a 1-1 count to Larson. Big left-handed batter, good power. I know he's been a fixture in the Edina varsity lineup the last 3 years.
He has. This has been kind of one of the most decorated classes they've had come through. They, someone like Handberg.
Oh,
no matter what sport he plays.
God, he was amazing quarterback in basketball, I know. And you said he was a really good kid, too.
Oh, outstanding.
That's going to fall, just a little chip shot into center field off the end of the bat. Unfortunately, Stennis not able to come up clean with that. Throw home is not going to be in time, and that's going to make 4 runs in on the play. How much Ryan could have done on that? He just kind of hit it off the end of the bat.
Yeah, but one thing Ryan could have done was gone behind home plate to back up rather than be in front.
Right, he was going to. So Mitch Larson, technically he's going to get credit for 1 RBI, and then the second run's going to score on the misplay in the outfield by Stennis there.
Yep.
But nice job by Greenbush following through on that. So.
We're running a camp during the day here.
Oh, yeah, why don't you tell everybody about that?
Well, we only have a couple days of it left, but we're finding today on our infield stuff, that the field, it's amazing how quick it's gotten hard.
Oh, it's just rough.
Yes.
I don't know if you saw all the Junior Legion game, but technically the board was wrong. I actually had 14 errors in the game, and so many of them were just 3 hoppers that were bang, bang, bang.
Yep. We had to make some adjustments in our infield work today to get us away from some of the areas that the ball's taking such weird hops on.
Right. Yeah, and that's been a good program. And have you enjoyed being involved with that and getting to know how many? Now, you don't have a lot of kids in the younger levels, but
no. And one of the things with it being my first year, I'm kind of a person that would prefer to keep things little the first time.
Okay.
So we go through it, and I can kind of learn the environment a little bit better, and then we can grow from there.
Right. Well, that's great, and I know Danny Bissonette has been working with you some on that too.
Yep.
I think.
Yep, that's a good pitch. I think when Ryan settles down here a little bit and his ball starts coming back down, I think you'll see more out of him than what we saw during the spring.
Yeah, and I know he got sick towards the end. His 0-2 breaking ball chopped to second base, Jaramillo. Even that was not an easy play. You could see him mess with that. So that's going to be the second out.
Now at the plate.
It's tough. When I coached out at Minnetonka, our field before they built veterans was so bad. We actually quit working infield work on it because we do nothing but help develop bad habits.
Right, right. Well, and it's just been so funny. We had 9.5 inches of rain in June. I don't have to tell you that, and all the games that were missed in the spring with the cold. Nice breaking ball for a strike there. But yeah, and then we've gone into total drought the last 2 weeks. Isn't that Minnesota? So this is Michael Grove. We've talked about him. He's a nice backstop. I've seen him throw out quite a few runners. Had a chance to see them against Totino this year, and then I saw them play Eden Prairie. I know you've seen a lot of these kids too. So 0-2 with 2 outs. Let's see what Ryan does here.
Well, my son Timmy, who we lost in 2009, he would have been a senior this year. So.
So you know really all these kids.
Yeah,
then, right?
We kind of watched them grow up.
Right. That fair ball chopped down the line, and that's going to be a double as Grovey stuck with that. That breaking ball was up a little bit, and he hammered it down the third baseline. Got a big Baltimore chop out of that. That'll plate the 5th run of the inning.
That's a microcosm of his inning. This poor Ryan, you get the first bad hop out to Joey, and then one that lands right on the line.
Yep. Well, that happens. We'll see. Who knows? Even Mitch Larson's a great pitcher, but we'll see what happens today with the way the field is. So that'll bring up Egley, the 9th hitter to bat. Officially the 3rd hit of the inning. A couple walks. Don't have an official pitch count here. I've been too busy talking to you, I guess, to get into that. That ball hit, you can tell that ball's way over the head of Stennis back there. And that's going to plate another run here as Grovey's going to score all the way around the 6th run, and Egley's going to get to second on a double. I had a chance. These guys just won the Delano tournament, and then I was going through some of the stats. They won 5-0 over the weekend, and I was playing with wood bats. And then I was talking to somebody who saw them down in the Egan tournament. They beat Egan 12-0, Stillwater 11-0, and somehow got upset in one game. But you can not often you see a 9-hole hitter on a high school or Legion team smacking 330 to the fence.
Yeah, and if I'm Parker, I'm probably playing the same position when you get to that point. This is kind of a difficult time for a coach to come out because you're looking at Ryan and you're trying to help him just kind of take a breath and stay in the inning.
Well, and the truth is that I've had some discussions with Ryan about how and when he's going to have to incorporate his changeup more. And especially, he's getting some good diving action when he throws it to lefties down and away, but it's obvious that he's going to continually need to mix that up, even when he's maybe behind in the count and fastball counts, But yeah, I was...
You have lots of fans.
I do. You see Fromm out there talking to Mitch Thomas. And if you just joined us, the score is correct. 6 runs on 4 hits, 2 walks, and 1 error. And Stephen Kalina, who started the game off reaching on an error on a ground ball to Jaramillo. And Egley at second, who just hit that nice double to center field. There he threw a changeup to start off, which I don't mind seeing him do. You know, just mixing things up. And
yeah, I think this is more runs than Ryan gave up in the high school season. You know, for the whole season.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is his teammates usually get up for him. You know, they know he's going to pitch at a fast pace. They know he's going to be around the strike zone.
Right, right. There's a good change there. So even throwing that, you know, 1-1, and you just got to get their timing off. I mean, be it the curve or the change. The other thing that's hard too, Jim, and you know this, but a lot of the times the kids don't. Ryan throws a 4-seam fastball, which means the ball's generally pretty straight. You know, there's another one there, nice change. But that 2-seam fastball, if kids can pick that up at a young age, you get that natural movement. And if you can control that, it's almost like having a curveball in a way. And yeah, it's good to have you and Mike Olson. There's
now that one
a little bit high or curved around the plate, so full count.
Okay, you can say that. I thought it was a strike.
Yeah, me too, but
probably that's the coach in me. So Ryan just needs to take a breath here. He needs to take a breath and get back on.
I didn't even talk to him today intentionally, because one thing I noticed with Ryan sometimes is when things aren't going well, he actually pitches faster.
Yeah.
A lot of times guys slow down, most people, but he gets mad at himself and wants to get the ball back and throw it as soon as he can. But
yeah. But that's not bad. That's
right.
For your fielders, that's great.
Right. That's good that you're not afraid to give up hits or walks. Or this is Will Vanderbilt, who walked the first time, also came around to score. Kalina on first and Egley on second. 2 out. I think he's thrown more changeups in the last 2 batters than I saw in the last 2 games, which to me is a good sign. But
yeah, well, it's all got to work with rhythm. I think Warren Spahn used to say, hitting is all rhythm, and pitching is figuring out how to get the hitters off rhythm.
Totally, yeah.
You know, and right now Ryan's off rhythm a little bit. He's not missing by much.
Nope, and he's getting good practice throwing his change. And
yep.
There's always advantages of having games like this too, and learning curve for any pitcher too.
Well, the nice thing for him when you're looking at a team that's got 3 Division I players in their lineup, and you're going to play Division I next year, gives you an idea of what you're facing.
Exactly, and what you're going to need to get. Boy, 4th walk of the inning, and things are really unraveling here.
Yeah, this is not a guy you want coming up now.
And he hit a nice, he got credit for a single last time. So 4 hits and 4 walks in the first inning. And he might be 1 pitch away from being pulled out of the game here. Just credit for a low fastball there.
Do you know what the schedule is the rest of the week for them? Yeah,
there's almost no off days. Today, Edina, we can take a look there. That one is gapped to right center. That's going to clear the bases. There's a beautiful hit by Hoffner. Is going to clear the bases here. Beautiful triple there by Matt Hoffner as he just crunched that ball and just laced it into there for a triple. And that's going to make the score 9-0, and I think that's going to be it.
Yeah. A team like Edina, you just can't let them get on a roll.
And that is not what Mr. Ryan wanted there, or Ryan. And I think they're going to wisely maybe just take him out of the game for a while here. And it looks like Jaramillo is going to come in the game. So a nice 3-run double by Hoffner. And unfortunately, the walks were part of what hurt there. It was if the inning would, if we make the play to start the inning and we get 1 out, you never know what's going to happen. But yeah, so.
Well, it just gives you a better start. That first play is probably the most important to start with, just like the first pitch of every at bat, you know.
Well, they were really on him, and there you see Joey Jaramillo. The only good thing about this for Joey is there's no pressure whatsoever when you're this kind of score, and you've got 2 outs already, and he's done a nice job throwing strikes. We don't have any pitching stats for.
Well, I can tell you in the high school year, Joey had 3 saves for us.
Yeah.
And he just came in. He's not spectacular with any of his pitches, except they're all strikes and around the plate. And for a sophomore in the high school year to come in and not be afraid to go after varsity hitters.
Yeah. Well, it's nice too, and you know, Curtis hasn't got a chance to pitch really at all, and Joe obviously didn't during the season either, and Cole has only pitched once but you just really didn't have a full arsenal of arms. So Joey and even Kenny Ferrulli got a chance to pitch, who normally they wouldn't at that young of an age.
Yep. But that's been good for us. We all look at the spring and say what a horrible spring, and I feel bad for the seniors who had less opportunities than they normally would have gotten. But for us as a new coaching staff to see our future play, because they had to. And you play 11 games in 13 days, you know, your future has to participate at some point during that time. And
yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, there's been a lot of baseball to be played lately. I'm amazed at the difference in the quantity of games these teams have played. Edina's 17-3, and this was Park's 11th game?
Yep.
I'm not sure. Then again, Park lost 2 games in the Jeanberg tournament when they had to give up the games too. So here's Mark Hanberg, who hit a long sac fly.
Well, I think for Edina too, they believe in playing a lot, and they'll get involved in a lot more tournaments. And
yep, absolutely. There was a little curveball inside there.
But they also have the depth there. They've been able to build depth and enough kids to pitch. And
for a long time, I know Edina was really down, because after when I was in high school, in 82 and 83, Edina won the state legion, and I've told this story to numerous people as Fromm retires Hamburg there. I'll never forget in 83, my senior year, St. Louis, we were in the Lake South back then with Edina, Minnetonka, Burnsville, Jefferson. And Rick Rather was Edina's #1 pitcher over Rob Wassenaar.
Yep.
And he was too old to play Legion ball that summer when they won the World Series.
Yes.
He was too old, so even though they won the state tournament, they were all like, oh, we'll never do good in Legion because we don't have Rather. But they had so many other pitchers. But then they really had kind of a long dry spell where, and I'm not sure what caused that from, they just had lost a number. Or then again, hockey's such a big thing in Edina too. And
well, you kind of go through different cycles. So I think the number of kids, when I started as the Legion coach in Edina in 92, the number of kids in the program were less than the number of kids that are playing now.
What did they? Oh, okay. You were the Legion coach in Edina?
I was for 7 years.
Oh, okay.
And then I run a day baseball program for them. And when I first started doing that in 93, we had like 250 kids, 7, 8, and 9-year-olds playing.
Now,
now,
like 80.
Yeah.
And even that is a lot.
Right. Now we're almost close to 550.
Wow. And you know, you talk about a difference in numbers, like where I come from, Crystal has 210 players ages 6 to 12.
Yep.
I'm going to say that again. 7 years worth of age, you're talking 30, 40 players. So,
yeah.
And I don't think Park only probably has 200 total players total.
Yep.
250 maybe. I'm not sure how the Little League numbers are. We should mention, I don't know if you mentioned, the Little League District 1 region tournament is over in St. Louis Park this weekend over at Northside Fields, those 3 fields, the 12-year-olds. So,
okay.
And Park's got a really good 12-year-old all-star team, I've heard. So remind everybody to get over there if you get a chance to watch any of that. Here's Austin Brose to lead it off.
Austin had a great season as our leadoff hitter on high school.
Yeah.
He's going to miss Cole behind him, though. Cole provided, that was a good 1-2 punch for speed.
It really was. And Curtis is going to bat up there today. Ball hit over to second base. Little 4-3 put out. And Curtis will bat next. Yeah, so Curtis hasn't done much pitching in the summertime, but I'm sure you're hopeful for next year you can get his left arm working in the off season, and a real good hockey player for the Orioles too.
Yeah, it's going to be tough being a hockey player, getting a lot of work in. But you know, as a person who
If he could come on Wednesdays and Sundays even, you know, just to do some throwing, right? What were you going to say, though, Coach?
Well, I was going to say I wrestled and played baseball in college. And it's not bad taking a break and letting everything recover. Cross-training is you know, one of the best ways to keep yourself in shape, but to learn a little bit about multiple sports.
Right. Oh, yeah. You know, and I know Edina's got a lot of 2- and 3-sport players, and I know almost all the kids you have out here, be it Parker being your quarterback or Curtis, your leading hockey scorer, Lucas Savage. Oh. I think the one nice thing, that ball hit, a beautiful backhanded play by Egley. I don't think he's going to get him, but beautiful, nice job. Or was that Egley? I don't know if I have the right name there. Yeah, it was Egley. Nice. Curtis got a good piece of that and beats out an infield single, and that'll bring up Parker Stennis. It was kind of Greg Gagne-esque, or I don't know.
A little Derrick Jeter.
I guess he's finally coming back. I heard he started his rehab assignment.
Yeah, I hear Alex Rodriguez is a star in the minor leagues too.
Here's Parker on the year. We've got some Legion stats. Batting averages are pretty good. Parker's hitting, what is he, 370? We should mention Parker going to Concordia St. Paul next year. He's a good athlete too. Really gym fanatic.
I'm excited for him to go there. That's where I played.
Yeah.
And Mark McKenzie, you know, AKA Lunch. And he's a great coach.
Great guy. And I know the kids really enjoyed working with Marcus this offseason. I think you were involved with, maybe not technically, but they really liked having him on Sundays come in and work with the pitchers. And
Marcus ran the winter training, and I think what was good for me with Marcus coming in was he played for me at Minnetonka. So he's well versed. He played Division I baseball. He played at University of New Orleans and played at University of Minnesota.
Right.
But he kind of knew how we did things. So,
right.
So it kind of helped.
It was kind of a good transition, and I'm not sure what the plan will be this December, January, February, but I'm sure that's something you'll, want to work on and try to figure out. I personally thought the Wednesday, Sunday was really nice for even the kids that did play basketball, hockey, because you're talking an hour or two on Wednesday, and come high school, you usually don't have the religious events on Wednesday, or not as much at least. Parker goes down on the curveball that time for the second out, and Curtis is able to steal second successfully, and that'll bring up Fromm. I know that Mitch throws 4 different pitches. I saw him throw a complete game on, was it Thursday against Delano? He threw a 2-hit shutout against Delano, and they, have a really good Double-A team. They were in the state again this year, and so here's Ryan against Mitch. I'm sure, if nothing else, he'd like to make some contact. Just misses. Yeah, I think Mitch throws 3 or 4 pitches I've seen. So
after watching Ryan bat at the high school All-Star Series, I'm pretty sure there's not too many pitchers that intimidate him.
Yeah, boy, they enjoyed that. Thank you for nominating him. And ooh, wow. Yeah, what a great experience. I've got a magazine to give you, too, and I know Matt Hopner had a really nice hit and did a great job pitching. And gosh, Edina, probably you were talking before when you were at Minnetonka, you had 4 or 5 kids one year, and then they had change the rules so other schools could at least get a player.
Well, it was a weird year for us because we had our left fielder went to University of Iowa, our center fielder went to New Orleans, our right fielder University of Minnesota.
So you were a good coach that year.
Yes.
That had nothing to do with the talent.
Yeah. Oh, no. So it was a great group of kids.
And there's what you like to see, a 2-0. I don't know if that was a slow curve or it was his changeup, but even behind in the count, he can throw that ball over. He was doing that a lot when I saw him against Delano, too.
I hate to say, with a 9-0 lead, you can feel a little more confident, too.
Yeah.
And that's a good time to work on things.
There he just threw some high gas that time, and Ryan couldn't catch up to that. Ryan sporting the high stirrups. He sure loves wearing those high stirrups, Jim.
Well, they looked good during high school.
He tried to get a lot of guys to wear them.
I was having flashbacks.
Yeah. I remember when I think he bought like 15 pairs of those, and then he went around and tried to get everybody to pay like an extra couple bucks, so his ended up being free.
Well, that proves he was ready for college.
And that's a nice job by Mitch, as there was already 3 outs there. So Stennis and Fromm go down swinging as Larson gets them. And that'll take us through the first inning. We're going to step away just for a minute. And if you just joined us, stick with us here at Park 16. We'll be right back.
Patty, let me be honest with you. Won't filing for Social Security benefits online be confusing?
George, it's simple and easy, and you can do it in your pajamas from the comfort of your own home.
Oh, my.
You've navigated through asteroid belts, right?
Oh, sure, plenty of times.
Well, compared to that, navigating socialsecurity.gov is a snap.
Really?
It's so easy. Even Kirk could do it.
Oh, yeah.
These are the type of teams we have to beat.
Yeah, yeah. And I really hope you guys can get, I hope they can get Curtis in the game.
Yep.
All right, we're back. As you see a beautiful sunset here at Keller Field. And we were just chatting, Coach Nunn and I beforehand, that this is a great opportunity for the sophomore junior to be Jaramillo to get some good experience. And also, too, Lucas Savage, these two teams met on Friday in a game that Edina won 7-6, but Edina wasn't pitching one of their main guns that day. But here's Egley to lead off the top of the second inning. He walked and stole a base and came around to score in the 9-run first inning.
You don't have to say that very often, though.
Yeah, I think I'd prefer to let the visual. I told the Edina coach that they could, watch the replay of this game tomorrow or purchase a copy, but I might not want to pass that number out a lot. You'll forgive me, Jim. Okay, it's hard enough to announce these games when your high school team's play, but sometimes when your son is playing, it's kind of a double whammy.
Well, the one thing I appreciate about Joey during the high school years, he wasn't
he's not
scared by anyone.
All. No, he's not. He really isn't. He's another guy like, even though there's a disparity in the number of kids at the younger levels playing baseball, there's a lot of kids like Joey and Joe Burnley and Lucas Savage that really do love playing baseball, though, too. And there's plenty to build on. So.
Well, there's a good number. I think. We're
and your 13-year-old group is really good. I see they're ranked in the top 15 for AAA. Your son, we're hoping, can come over and lend his catcher's expertise. There's an official recruitment process of your son going on.
Yeah, I don't know if I can get in trouble by the high school league.
No, you can't. But if I'm actively recruiting him, then you're not involved.
Well, it's a good thing he's not here then.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good group, and I think sometimes when your numbers aren't as big as some of the other programs, you really have to rely on a work ethic of your kids.
Yeah, right.
And we don't have to put out a team necessarily that matches athletic ability by an Edina or a Hopkins or a Wayzata. We just have to not give them those extra outs and give them those extra base runners and make them put the ball in play to get runs.
Well, that was a nice pitch for Joey, working ahead on Mitch Larson here as he's 1-2 on the count. Big hole on the right side for Mitch. And nice job. Beautiful changeup down and away. Got him again. And that's the thing that's nice. Joey really mixes things up for a young guy.
He does.
Not that Mitch Larson was happy with that, but...
No. But I think Mitch Thomas has been a good influence for our pitchers during the high school year, being a senior catcher.
Yeah.
And he's a pretty calm kid.
Exactly. That's hit well into right field and deep. Nobody's with a beat on that as Bear's going to shoot that one all the way to the wall. And Egley's going to be held at third with a double. Didn't quite get all of that, but he got enough of the meat part of the bat on it where... And Danny Bear's going to Princeton, that guy. So if you just joined us, 4 of the Hornet players are going Division I just this year. And it sounds like 2 more next year are going. And they really got some good clubs. So, but Coach Nunn is insisting that he'll be bringing that type of talent to St. Louis Park in years gone by. So tell everybody to open and roll at St. Louis Park.
You know, if the kids here are willing to work, they'll get there. There's enough talent here in this sophomore class for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and they really are a good bunch of, you know. So here is Michael Grove, who had a single and an RBI his last at bat. I noticed he was wearing, I wonder if that's in honor of the cancer. He's wearing the pink arm wrap on his right. I don't know if you know.
Yeah. I do not. I know he's wore it all year.
And that one's hit hard to second. Oh, really hit hard, bounces off Brose's glove. Fromm going to have it play at the plate, but he throws too high, and he wouldn't have got him anyway. He's safe. So, unfortunately for the Orioles, that ball hit hard, and Egley and Bear are going to come around to score. I'm going to give a... Do we give an error right away? Yeah. Guess we got to give an error on counting for the second run coming in there. So ball hit hard by Grove. And now hitting for Edina, the third baseman, number 16. And if we do have some technical difficulties later in the game that cause this broadcast to end early, just know that we will still be here even if we're not on air. Right, Paul?
That's a nice play.
Yeah, nice job out there as Curtis is able to retire. I believe that's Egley for the second out of the inning.
Well, you can see how much, looking at St. Louis Park's outfield right now, how many injuries have affected him. Because you have your left fielder playing center field, and you have your two first basemen playing left field and right field.
And your right fielder playing first base with no arm, I know. Well, hopefully you guys can get Joey back this winter too, Joe Burnley, I should say, and hopefully he can help. And
well, it sounds like from talking to his mom that they're on the right track now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's too bad about the misdiagnosis. So here's Steven Kalina officially 0 for 1, make that 1 for 2 on the day as the leadoff hitter singles. That's his third time on now. You know, life is good when it's your third time at bat in the second inning.
Yeah.
Nice clean single there.
Don't bring up old memories.
So that'll make it first and second on a nice clean single by Kalina. And that'll bring up Will Vanderbilt, who's walked twice. Vanderbilt, the two-hole hitter. I know in talking to Coach Kennedy, he was saying that both Kalina and Vanderbilt, being that they're both juniors at the top of the order, they've been getting a lot of contact with a lot of Division I schools, and you can kind of see that even. I had seen Steven play for one of Barda's teams over the winter, and I saw him, I think he went like 8 for 12 in a weekend series and played some great defense too. And
well, they're both quick. They're both left-handed hitters. They both can slap at the ball.
There's a breaking ball, and that's hit to left. Going to be a tough play by Greenbush, and that's going to go by him as he does not get an angle for that, and that's going to clear the bases here. As 2 more runs are going to score here. Unfortunately, that ball is going to be kicked away, and nobody at third base. Luke, I'm not sure what happened on the cut play there.
It just shows how much a little thing is. Curtis not being an outfielder takes bad angle at that ball. That's why the ball gets by him.
Right. As you watch the play here, Curtis had a good aggressive read on it, but and knowing the way the field is hard as a rock out there as soon as that ball went deep. So here's Matthew Hopner again. It's officially 2 RBIs Vanderbilt, as we have to give him a double on that.
That's a good pitch.
Yep. So 0-2 with 2 outs. Vanderbilt that second. Hopner batting again. We mentioned Matthew on his way to Northwestern, where I heard he had like a 30 or 30 something on his ACT too, which I mean to get into the only private school in the Big Ten. That one's hit into right center, and that is going to be caught out there, I believe, by Danny Foltz. Nice job catching that. He really had to range far as a left hand. He was probably helped to have the glove on the right hand that time as he went into the.
Just spray it for me. Just drench it.
All right. So, and 4 runs come in that inning for Edina, and that'll make it after 1.5. As you see, Danny Foltz ranging far to his right. It's a nice catch. He kind of partially slid that way. I don't know if good communication out there or not, but
still, it's a good jump. They needed to play like that. But if you notice watching Joey still, no matter what happened with the ball, he still went after the batters.
Yeah, well, and that's and even though it was a really not a bad outing for my son, I'm glad even though he walked a few guys, I'm glad I just want him to maintain that aggressiveness and hopefully he needs to keep learning how to use his changeup more. And they're going to have Mark Hanberg pitch here because they're up 13-0 in the second inning here. Now, did he pitch regularly for them, or?
I'm not sure. I don't.
I saw him in the state tournament pitch so many guys last year, but I know they had Hopner's their main lefty, and we saw him pitch against Armstrong. I remember at the Dome too, and Larson obviously. Well, this is nice for them too because if they've got another South Hennepin game, say tomorrow, they could. I don't know who they used on Saturday in the finals of their Delano tournament.
Hopner.
So because they had 2 games on Saturday, I know. So
yeah.
So they played. Let's start. And this weekend is the Gopher Classic, and I know Edina is one of the host sites in Benilde. St. Louis Park will be playing up at Irondale. So
that's one of the best tournaments.
Yeah, isn't that the greatest? Everybody comes to town, and leading off the bottom of the second for St. Louis Park, the catcher Mitchell Thomas. We were worried for a while. I don't know if you heard he was out for 10 days. He had a big bang. I don't think we've had one game this whole high school or summer season where the whole roster was together. And it's not that big of a roster, it's not football size, but yeah. So Thomas, Lucas Savage, and Joe Burnley to lead off the second here. And Mark Hanberg, the right-handers, we mentioned he also going to Nebraska Omaha to join Mitch Larson, and he's got a good arm there.
He does have a good arm. I'm watching him play football. But it's a little different throwing the small round ball.
Yeah. Wasn't he Edina number 1 in football for a while, or did they lose out in the state, or I guess I forget.
Got beat. Yeah, they got beat in state. But yeah, when you play in the conference with Eden Prairie, Wayzata, and Minnetonka, and you beat all 3 during the year.
That's a good decade for a lot of schools. Forget year.
Yes.
Now, have you heard? I don't mean to, as the game's kind of. Have you heard anything with St. Louis Park and Cooper eventually after next year joining in with the new West Suburban? Have you heard anything about what's going to happen with, say, Benilde or Totino or?
They're going. From talking with Mike Smith and Greg Hemke. I know what both of them are doing now is they're going through what the high school league requires the schools to do is to file to join conferences. Mm-hmm. And you have to be turned down by 3 conferences.
Right. And
once you've been turned down the 3rd time, then the Minnesota State High School League will place you in a conference.
Gotcha. Okay, so that's... Well, and I can imagine it's not easy for Benilde. I know the head football coach, John Hanks, over there, and I don't think ideally they want to join Eden Prairie or Wayzata, but for football, but obviously the hockey team would love to. Lucas Savage with a hard chopper, and that's going to be an infield single. So Thomas draws the walk, and then Lucas Savage with a single. So that'll get first and second for Joe Burnley, who has been out for a couple weeks with a bad shoulder. Let's see, Hanberg, good follow through though. I don't know. Joe, another one of those guys you got for 2 more years up here. Okay, well, we're calling it a hit, so. We can overrule anything that the scoreboard does. That's the beauty of the fact that we're the announcing crew, Jim.
Yeah.
Right. He left his feet, so.
Yeah, that was a tough play. I'm not sure exactly if he would have filled it if he could have thrown him out to begin with.
Right. So Burnley squares around here as he tries to drop a bunt down, maybe just to try to use Joe's speed.
Yeah.
We want to thank, too, Joe's mom, Patty Hoy, for all she did with the Dugout Club this year. And I'd be remiss if I don't mention how, if anybody still wants to help donate towards the scoreboard or even the scholarship fund for the Derrick Keller Scholarship, let us know. We could...
What's that?
I have no idea what that was.
Only thing I can think of is he thought the ball got through the catcher.
Boy, I don't have any idea what that was. Mitch Thomas took off for third. He must have thought it was. But usually you'd get some type of visual help from your third base. I mean, especially as a coach, but so.
The one thing I learned in the spring is these kids here all want to do well. And so because of that, you know, sometimes you're going to see some things that you don't think it's not there. Like Mitch wanted to get something done, probably read the ball getting through the catcher.
Well, and we were talking about I don't know what happened on that play. We just, you know, speaking of injuries though, we did, then TJ Halfin pitched and then he got hurt, and a nice hard hit by Burnley, but that's going to be doubled off here. Wow, what a scoop by the first baseman, Larson. Wow. Did you see that?
I did.
That was an amazing. Burnley hit a rocket. Do you have that on replay? He one-hopped that, and the runner is almost in his way, and he backhanded that.
I'm not 100% sure.
Wow.
Larson saw it coming.
That was a laser by Egley over there. Well, Steve, you came late, but you didn't miss anything. So, well, or you did miss something. I haven't heard a report on your son. We did have another Oriole go down today as Archie Olsen suffered a hamstring problem. TJ hurting, just. As we're back here, there you see a couple of the best looking people you ever see on TV. Jim Nunn and me. Yeah. Me first, then Jim Nunn.
I was told I should do radio.
Oh, if you want to donate to the, I've got a face for radio. If you want to donate to the Dugout Club for that scoreboard, we still need $10,000. Jim, here's your time to plug it. Go ahead.
Plug the scoreboard?
Go ahead.
Yeah, you can call the St. Louis Park Dugout Club at 952-451-0771.
And if you don't want to donate to the Dugout Club, but you want to donate to this Derrick Keller Scholarship Fund, we did, Parker Stennis and Cole Hoyt did, we're two recipients this year, or Parker Stennis and Austin Brose, excuse me, of the first ever Derrick Keller Scholarship. So, Paul, thanks for putting up that graphic. It was really nice of you to throw that up. And the Orioles, you got to like the way this is going. Curtis Greenbush going to get a chance here to an inning, and he needs some work anyway. He hasn't pitched in a long time, so.
You asked for this earlier.
I did.
And again, for me now as a high school coach, I'm kind of excited to see Curtis in this setting.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, and you know, the first, you know, you and I didn't get a chance to talk about this, but the first two innings of the Totino game at home, when he, you know, he did a really nice job keeping him off balance at first two innings. For whatever reason, you know, he hasn't practiced his pitching a lot. It kind of, but hopefully he can draw on that as a positive experience in the future too, to remember.
He hasn't. It's my understanding he didn't get to throw a lot as a sophomore, and so because of that, you know, without repetitions, it's hard to continually repeat. Ryan had a little bit of a hard time today repeating his mechanics. This is why the ball stays up high. But you know what? There's a reason why they're high school kids.
Yeah, absolutely. So this would be Mark Hanberg, who hit a nice sac fly in the first, and then hit a hard ground ball to end the first as well. I'm sorry, he batted twice in the first. So if you just joined us, 9 runs in the first, 4 runs in the second.
Here's one of the things I will tell my teams when we coach and we get in a situation like this. Today's not a lost day. Today's a day we get to find out whether or not our team is made up of competitors or quitters.
Right. Well, and you may not know this, but last year they played Edina and Eden Prairie on back-to-back days, and they lost at Edina last year, I think 14-2, and then 24 hours later we happened to come home and beat Eden Prairie. So, you know what I mean? So, and I think you got some resiliency here. It's hard to be until the game's over with to write it off, but you just hopefully can. They just need to get a lot of these kids some work no matter what. And
well, for Curtis today, this is a chance for repetition.
Exactly.
A chance for repetition in competition.
And one of the hard things about Legion, I don't have to tell you this, but the kids don't ever practice for the Legion season. So the games become the practice. And they're playing in the Gopher tournament this weekend, which is a minimum of 4 games. They play Eden Prairie tomorrow on the road. So you're going to need multiple guys out here. They're hoping Cole can come back. Austin probably will pitch tomorrow. So
the Gopher Classic, I didn't see. Do you have who they're playing this weekend?
Yeah, I do. I could pull that up. Why don't we can? Oh, there you go.
It's right here. So Omaha, Tri-City Maroon, Fridley, Prior Lake, and Watertown.
And Fridley is actually Totino Grace. So,
Okay.
And Tri-City Maroon is Irondale. Prior Lake, a pretty good team. So it'll be interesting to see. It has.
Now my son's team is playing Totino Grace tonight.
Armstrong is?
Yes, I was looking for a text to see how they did. But,
yeah. Yeah, I hope that's worked out well. I know Ryan's best friend was nice enough that we could find a spot to play over there some. And now they're not playing in the Gopher Classic, though, right, Armstrong?
Now this is a change in their program this year. They've gone to juniors and seniors. But in the past, they've kept it pretty much juniors.
Yeah, they never let the seniors play. I know.
They've used it more as development for the high school program.
Good hustle by Burnley as he's able to catch that flare off the bat of Egnley. Nice job.
If the football coach sees that, he might be looking for a receiver.
I know. Did you ever see? I don't know if you saw DJ Pollard, the basketball player from Park, play. He ended up being on the football team.
Okay.
And so did the Kashif Hayes, the great other basketball player. They've been trying to recruit Lucas Savage for years away. And that's hit up the middle. Let's see if Fromm can grab it. Unfortunately, can't. Hit hard up the middle for a single. Mitch Larson gets his second hit of the game. Be a good game. We'll have to. I don't have all the backups for Edina, but I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of these kids in the game. So keep me posted if you see any other numbers, will you?
I will.
But here's Danny Beer. We mentioned he's going to Princeton to play. He played at, did you say St. Thomas Academy?
Yeah, St. Thomas Academy. So, like I said, this was my son's class.
Yeah.
So I've been able to watch the kids grow up through day baseball, through Little League.
Oh, just about tore Joe Burnley's glove off, and that's going to, I guess not played anybody, but I don't know if we have a replay of that, but I wonder if Joe saw that clean.
Well, sometimes you just hit it too hard. Now, I'm not sure. Has Parker Erdahl been in the lineup?
No, he's not.
So this is your first pinch hitter.
Okay. So for Grovey, here's number 4, Parker. Oh, I remember him from Little League when we played against Edina. Thanks for the replay there, Paul, and our crack staff. Was Erdahl another kid who graduated, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think looking through this, it looks like Will Vanderbilt, Joe Dorn, Stevie Kalina, John Leach, Jack Kunselman. Those are the juniors on their team. I think the rest are seniors.
Oh, okay. Well, it's a beautiful night here, air-wise. And, you know, it's been so humid the last few days. I'm glad it's cooled off. I really love these 8:30 starts in the summer.
Yeah.
And I don't know, in the future, will you ever have the possibility of ever playing any later starts during the high school season, or is it just so difficult? Like, because your old school Minnetonka seems to play some 6:30. But is it all dependent on what other teams want to do in your conference?
We actually have already talked to the conference, and every home game after April 28th will be at 6:30.
Oh, the parents will love you for that. Yeah.
Well, we'd like to, one of the things is that
you want to get more attendance and support, and kids to be able to go. And
yeah, that's the big thing. I think if some of the younger kids can come out and watch the Orioles play baseball, collect some baseball cards of the players, and have an opportunity to do things, we can see our numbers increase.
Well, yeah, and this game, you know, we should throw this game out in the sense that it's not going well, but there's been a lot of really positive things the last 3-4 years. The section runner-up finish in 2010, and then even last year with all the turmoil about McEachran leaving and Derrick passing.
Yep.
Okay, and this is Spencer's brother Harrison.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, and he's been starting.
Okay.
At third. So this is Harrison Egley. He's 1 for 2 and just misses pulling that one foul. Erdahl walked, and that plated a run here that'll reload the bases. 1 down. Scores. It is a. Actually, it's only 14. Or it's only 14, Paul. It's 14-0, not 15. But
they just walked in a run.
Yeah, I only had. That was the first run of the inning, I believe. Yeah.
All right. Well, there has been. I know our high school season. If you look, we were competitive in every game.
Yeah.
the couple that probably got away from us.
Well,
one was Tolentino Grace.
Yeah, but the first 2 innings were good, and then it just kind of...
Yeah.
Well, and even like last year, Jim, I know you weren't necessarily around a lot during the season, but like after Derrick passed away on June 25th last year, you know, the kids responded with a good game against Hopkins, and they hadn't beaten Hopkins in a few years. And then they had the really rough game against Edina and responded with a good effort against Eden Prairie and a win. And just a lot of, you know, I think there's a lot of kids that have gone through a lot of resiliency with losing. Because Aaron, you know, it was hard for a lot of the kids to have him announce right before the playoffs that he was leaving, too, you know, last year. But I know they're really glad to have you and Mike on board and have some good stability. And just knowing that you're working with the kids and stuff, it means a lot.
Well, I've never been involved with a group of kids quite like these guys. You know, I've changed teams before and never been as accepted right away as with this group.
Well, that's, you know, and I think too, it's not always easy at St. Louis Park, but these kids, they shouldn't make any excuses, and there's a lot of little victories that they've achieved through the times. And that's the one nice thing about baseball is whether it is one game at a time, and you can always, yeah, they have another game tomorrow. They have 4 games this weekend. And
yep.
Unfortunately, that ball was able to get into right field and reload the bases. And
well, when you get on a roll, sometimes it's hard to stop a roll.
And that ball hit hard off. Did that hit off Joe? And then
it did. So one thing with Curtis is Curtis, again, and Tolentino Grace was a good example in that game. Even though he hasn't pitched a whole lot, he's still around the plate.
Yeah.
He's still going to put the ball in play. And as a defense, you've got to make the plays behind your guys.
Right. Well, and I know both the teams took infield before the game, and I couldn't even tell you if Joe Burnley's ever even played first base.
I can tell you not in high school here.
No, I was going to say. Well, and what I was telling you about the Junior Legion game early on, like I said, I think there was 14 errors in the game and all kinds of balls that. It's nice, and it's nice the city mows the grass so short, but they should maybe not mow it so short in the middle of a drought.
We may have to have a talk with them.
So that'll bring up Vanderbilt here with the bases loaded. Still only 1 down. I officially have 3 runs in this inning. They have 4, but we'll. So Erdahl's at third, and I think Harrison Egley's at second. Kalina's at first. Everybody's pitching.
There you go. Yep, Curtis is going to have to come back with a couple more of those.
Yep, 3-1. And I don't know who's warming up down there. Is that Danny, or maybe one of the young guns going to get some work? In case you're wondering, normally you don't talk about this in the top of the 3rd inning, but there is I know there's a 10-run rule in high school, and I don't know, is there a 15-run rule, Jim?
You know, not in
Legion or high school?
Not in Legion. Or I should say it's been many years since I've done it. I don't recall it. This will be difficult. It's Nate Orton is.
Oh, and he pitched in the Junior Legion game.
He pitched in the Junior Legion.
Yeah, because Jake threw on Friday, and I suppose, well, yeah. So Curtis is going to hit the showers here.
It looks like Nate's coming in.
And you're right. He pitched 2 innings in the first inning. He's the guy. If you can get him to throw more submarine, I think, because you got him throwing way over on the third base side.
Yep. Well, he worked at it all spring, and then again with the way our season started, with all the rain, we had plenty of practice early, and then when we needed practice to correct things that happen in games,
right,
we had to play games on the good days.
Now, I hope this game won't cause you to rethink your color commentator duties for future broadcasts. Because we're going to do a Little League game next week.
We'll see.
Okay. Over at the District 1, I should mention the District 1 Little League playoffs are taking part starting today through next week at St. Louis Park Northside Little League. Make sure you get over there. That's been 15 years since St. Louis Park hosted the 12-year-old All-Stars, and those are the group. The kid in the Junior Legion game that was pitching for Benilde earlier, he was one of their kids on the Plymouth New Hope team that went to Williamsport 3 years ago. Yeah, wow. So I had seen him a lot. So, have you had a chance to see now? Your younger boy is he got just 1 or 2 more tournaments left for his 13-year-old league? He's got
3 state tournaments left, and then we have our league playoffs as well. We finished 3rd in our division, and so we have 5 different divisions. Okay. So those 5 divisions will get split into league playoffs. So we have 3 state tournaments and the league playoffs left.
Okay.
So they're off to they've had a good year.
How many games have they played?
28.
Did they start in late April or
yes.
Because of the weather it was still okay?
Yeah, first part of May, but a lot of early games were rained out just like what we faced.
So here's Nate Orton. You saw him earlier in the Junior Legion game, and the side-winding Dan Quisenberry right-hander is now in the game.
Yeah, he does.
Pat Neshek type.
Pat Neshek. Well, now when Pat played for Park Center, he was over the top.
Yeah, and then he got hit or something by a line drive, and that.
Yeah, he got injured. He had pitched against us when I was coaching at Minnetonka, and then when I saw him with the Twins, I'm thinking, what? I didn't see him down there.
I know. And what a character that guy is. I've had a chance to meet him. And that blog he has. This is Ryan Cyril's batting?
Cyril's.
Yep. Batting for Hopner here. Sidewinder.
So he does well when he keeps his body back. Nate threw a few games for relief for us. When he gets his body in front, he seems to kind of pull the ball outside.
Sure. And he might have a tired arm after that. Now, I don't know who's scheduled to start tomorrow, if it's Lucas Savage or Brose. It will be interesting if Coach, just for the heck of it, gives either one of them 10, 15, 20 pitches, just whoever might, almost as practice. That is the hard thing when you don't practice in Legion.
Well, in a lot of the teams, it's a little different. And, for high school, I tell the kids, if you go through a little stretch where you go 0 for 12, that's 25% of your high school season. You go 0 for 12 in Legion, and it's Thursday.
But
no, I mean it's Thursday.
No, exactly.
The season is so much different, and because you don't have time to practice and you play most of the time.
Oh, fouls that one off there. I like Cyril's. He's got the old-fashioned socks pulled up. He's got when I was playing, everybody had their pants that high. Nobody had the full baseball pants pulled down. I can't get used to the new stuff, but
I hate to tell you, but it's been like the last 15 years the pants have been down.
I know. I don't know. I'm just old-fashioned, I guess.
Yep, nice pitch inside.
So there's the second out as Nate Orton able to get the second out of the inning on his first at bat as he strikes out Cyril's. And that'll bring up, is this Mark Hanberg again?
It is.
And he might have some visions of, he's officially 0 for 1 with a sac fly, a ground out, and a walk.
I tell you though, watching him the last couple of years, it just seemed like every time he came up to bat with a game on the line, he got a hit.
And was it hard for him, to decide to focus on baseball, or just because he's done so well at it? Didn't he have a lot of football options too, or what did you hear? Or?
Well, I don't know. I can ask his mom. She's right over here. But I do know. Like sometimes the sport chooses you. In this particular case, I think most of the offers, baseball have chosen him, and football didn't choose him. It's a nice throw.
So a 6-3 put out there to end the top of the third inning. I have 4 runs. They have 5. I don't know. I could have made a mistake.
What about that guy?
Well, 1, 2, 3 bases were loaded when he hit that ball. Strikeout, ground out. So I'm going to go with 17. Paul, I appreciate your honesty in staying with it. Take a look at Mark Hanberg there. We haven't even really taken a break. Normally we take a break at the bottom of every inning, but we've just been chatting around. What else? What other? There you take a look at the scoreboard. It is great. You can't imagine after, being a little kid coming out here in the mid to late 70s. I think that's how old the other scoreboard was, to just come out here and see that. And The only thing that would be better is if we could get the SLP to light up. Do you think we'd work on that, Jim, once we get the 10,000 to finish the board?
We could try. Now, I know...
or maybe if we Park hits a home run, we can slide into a bottle of soda pop like at the Brewers games.
I'm afraid if I slide in, I'm not getting out.
I could be a stooge. You could put me up on top of the S or something. I could slide into the...
I think one of the things doing the camp here, I've talked to some people, nobody official, but they said Derrick Keller Field's on the agenda in the next couple of years to be kind of redone on the infield.
Boy. And hopefully right field, too, with all the drainage.
Well, that's going
to be...
Yep, that's what it sounds like. It's going to be tore up and a little better drainage put in, and but we'll see. Like I said, nobody official. We have a grant that Heidi Stennis had put together for us from Hennepin County.
Yeah.
That the money will be put into Derrick Keller Field to help with some upgrades.
And that's for some bullpens and whatnot too, or some mounds you were going to do, or?
Well, we're looking at some bullpen mounds.
Here's Danny Foltz to lead off the bottom of the third. Go ahead, Coach.
As well as upgrading the batting cage area where teams can come in and schedule the batting cage and be able to do a full practice with about 18 different stations.
That's what you were mentioning, and you had said you had been wanting to do that through Edina Youth and didn't get... Well, and we really should make sure to thank Heidi for that, and we're hoping that we can get a Twins grant, as I was telling you, to help finish the rest of that cost, so we don't have to constantly be raising money for that. But
yeah, well, I know it's tough when we
nice breaking ball. Oh,
that's a delayed call.
Wow. Ouch. That's going to hurt, but at least it was a breaking ball.
Yes,
It wasn't like a Mike. I told you that story, right? Jim's assistant coach, pitching coach here is Mike Olson, who was the Edina varsity coach. And the first ever varsity baseball game I ever went to was when I was in 9th grade and Mike was a senior at this field, and he was throwing, I don't know, what did he say he threw in high school?
About 95.
It was crazy, and he was so wild. He will freely admit that, and it scared us all to death.
Yeah, he may tell you he was wild, but he probably knew where it was going.
I think it was, yeah. Well, I saw I'll have to show you at some point, Jim. They had a thing on, here's Jaramillo batting here. Joey played second. I got to see if I can show you this picture. Well, take it away, Jim.
Okay. So Hanberg to the set. Now see that I don't know. Maybe I'm not cut out for this. That coach in me is coming out saying that pitch was better than the one he called a strike.
Yeah, it's.
But of course, that's how we always feel.
That's right.
I had an umpire tell me one time, it's not a strike because you want it to be.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, I've got to show you.
So Joey had a few at-bats for us this year. He as a sophomore. So he's having a good at-bat here.
I just had to show this to you. First of all, there's Aaron.
Okay. Yep, I coached against him when he was a player.
Look at there's Mike Olson's high school senior stats. If you can make those out, take a look at those walks, those strikeouts for innings.
Oh.
Took a picture of Jim's assistant Mike Olson's stats for his senior year and had to share it with him.
That pitch was low. Hanberg, I think, if he doesn't pitch much, he's sure doing pretty well with his little breaking ball.
Yeah, so that's first out here as Joey goes down. I'll bring up Austin Brose, who grounded out to second. It says here that, Mike, we got to embarrass you a little. It says that in 50 innings, you struck out 90. And remember, this was the old Lake South.
Yes.
So that's almost to a batter. And then you walked 36. So yes. Can you imagine the fear he would have?
I have a feeling there was a bunch of guys swinging before they got there, hoping to be done.
Right, I know.
Well, he tells us a story about being down at spring training and Joe Pepitone laying him on his butt.
With a line drive.
Yes. He threw one of his nice fastballs that would get by a high school guy, and Pepitone hit it right back at him.
He learned that he needed. I don't remember if Mike threw a change. I think he threw a curve and a fastball. That was all I remember. I couldn't see it really, so.
Yes. We have Chris Gabler, who helped coach our 9th grade team.
Yeah.
He played out at Minnetonka when Mike was playing, and he said the first time he comes up, Mike throws a fastball, and the umpire calls it a strike, and Chris said he turned around to the ump and goes, "How do you know that was a strike?" He said, "I didn't see it," and the umpire goes, "Because it sounded like a strike."
Yeah, he's a heck of a fun guy. And he runs him and Steph run a booth out at the state fair. So he was telling me Blue Moon Drive-In.
Yes.
So make sure if you're a St. Louis Park or any baseball fan or even a Edina fan, if you're watching this, make your way out to the Blue Moon Drive-In and say hi to Mike and stuff.
What's going to be one of our fundraisers this year is Mike is going to hire baseball players or parents to come and work at his stand.
Right.
And the money will go into our baseball program. That might drop. What a catch.
What a grab. And they're going to double him off there. Wow. Beautiful job as that little flared into right. And was that Egley in right? One of the Egleys? I apologize. I don't have. Let's see. That was Danny Bear who caught that, who doubled back off, and he threw it over to Hanberg at first. So beautiful double play. I thought that was going to fall too. And you can tell Danny was really in no man's land there, because you're always telling the guys to go halfway. Well, you can't really fully go half if you think he's going to catch it. But
no, and if he stays too close to first, they're going to throw him out at second.
Right. So we got an F9. We're going to step away momentarily. Stick with us here on Park 16 if you want.
Hi, I'm Betty White, and I'd like you to meet my friend here. This is Red. He's a puppy with a very special job to do, to be a guide dog for someone who is blind. Together, they'll travel the world in safety and with confidence. Guide Dogs for the Blind provide their services free of charge, thanks to the generosity of people like you. Please visit guidedogs.com to learn how to help today.
Well, I was always so proud of them. They didn't.
All right, we're back as we get ready to head to the top of the 4th inning. Nate Orton still on the mound here for St. Louis Park. Orioles officially no runs on the one hit that I officially have was Jake Lucas Savage's single. And then looks like I think we're going to have some more substitutions for Edina. This is at Spencer again. This is Spencer Egley's 4th at bat of the game. We're in the 4th inning. So no matter what, they're getting a lot of at-bats. I don't know who Edina's playing tomorrow in the South Hennepin, but they got to feel good about getting batting practice.
Yeah. Yeah, they had some pretty good breaks in the 1st inning. That kind of helped. And again, they're a team that plays with such confidence that once it gets on a roll, it's hard to stop.
Yeah, well, it was, Ryan walked a few, and then unfortunately the way the game started, just a ground ball to second that was booted probably was not the confidence level he needed to play against. Right.
Well, and the microcosm of the whole game is the one hopper over Jacob's head that landed right on the line.
Right. I know. So I'm sure you'll talk to the city about adding some water here before. I don't know how many more Legion games are left. Pop-up hit to short. Ryan out there going to put it away for the first out. So Nate retires another batter here.
I think here's a bit. Nope, this is Mitch.
Mitch Larson going to bat again here. Mitch officially 2 for 3 with 2 singles, two RBIs, 2 runs scored. So I guess 2 is probably something he should consider, and it's good he's got a 2 in his number too.
I didn't check their bench. I didn't see how many guys are here or how many people from the roster isn't, but you think at some point they have an opportunity to get some other kids some at-bats.
Right, especially because the game's only going to go 5 innings almost for sure, unless Park gets 10 runs.
And it never fails, especially...
Well, maybe they had a Junior Legion game. They have 2 Junior Legion teams, don't they?
Yeah.
I mean, I remember 2 years ago we played one, and then we played another one. And
yeah, we actually, my older son was coaching the Armstrong team. Mm-hmm. He played the first year that we had 2 teams. And his second team, he played on the second team, actually won the state tournament in 2009 for Tier 2.
Oh, okay.
So we were pretty proud. First year we offered the team and we won the state tournament.
Yeah, so you offered it just a regular junior legion, and then is Tier 2, would that be like smaller communities?
Yes.
Their main team, like a small town or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is the same thing American Legion is doing now.
Okay. Yeah.
They have the AA and A.
Yeah, so it's more like a town like Roseau, for example,
Right.
that has 60 kids in a graduating class. It's, yeah.
Right, and that's a good point up in that area.
Yeah, that part of the country, too, exactly.
You see a lot of it. Ada is a very small town, but I think because they're able to play that second tier, they're able to fill the team.
You know what's a really great pair of baseball communities is that Eden Valley and Watkins.
Yes.
I mean, they're just baseball fanatics out there, you know, not real big size-wise for. So full count here to Larson. That one shot up the middle. Nice clean hit. That's his third hit of the game.
You have Eden Valley. You also have Atwater and Grove City.
And that's Atwater's where
Mike Kingery came from.
Who was also in the Royals system right about the same time Mike Olson was. Yeah. He's got to teach us a baseball. Hey, why don't you tell the kids what you're doing this fall too? Are you not coaching a traveling team this fall through?
Yeah, I'm working through Pine Tar Academy, and we have a fall baseball program. Team's called the Fire Club.
Okay.
And so I'll be coaching 14 AAA. That's where my son will be playing. And the team's made up of kids from Minnetonka, Hopkins. There's a couple St. Louis Park kids, a few Edina kids, Wayzata.
That one shot out to left field and go over the head of Hanstein. Didn't get a good read on it. It was hit hard. So Bear's going to get at least 2, if not 3. And Larson going to be sent around to score here. Throw coming into third base, but Lucas Savage wasn't there. I guess it doesn't matter anyway. So. Yeah, I have officially that's the 18th run, but because that's Bear with a triple, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it was 9, then 4, then I had 4 again, where they had 5, and then I have 1. I have 18 runs, but oh well. We're gonna go with what I have.
Yeah, I would.
Okay. I don't think I've made a mistake. So yeah, Danny really hit that hard, and he must be a really good student too if he's going to anybody who's going to an Ivy League school, Princeton.
Yeah, I think with Heinstein, I think he just went out to the outfield.
Yeah, because to replace
Those are hard. If you don't get a lot of opportunities in the outfield, those line drives right at you. They're difficult to judge right away.
And sometimes and sometimes too, especially when it's dark, you haven't played a lot of night games too. You know, where you'd think, okay, you get the ball caught up in the light sometimes. And that was Parker Erdahl who batted for the second time, and he's probably feeling kind of bummed because he's only walked and been hit by a batter. So, so this is the other group.
This is the younger
brother.
He's 15. It's kind of rare in Edina that we get a 15-year-old to play Legion.
So he's going into 10th grade.
Yep.
Well, he's got a good older brother to play a lot of wiffle ball with. Pretty big kid too.
Yeah, throws hard. I think.
Is he a catcher like his brother?
No, a pitcher. The high school team was looking at the sections of him being the closer.
Oh, tough chance right there.
Let's see if Ryan makes the play.
Oh, he tried. Wouldn't have got him anyway, I guess. So. Boy, that was just bad luck too. But all right, so he gets a single. I don't know if granted the runner gets over to third base who wouldn't. It was a nice job Bear handing that.
Yeah, you would give him an error to get him to third.
Right. An error to get to third and a single on the. So that was okay. You'll have to forgive me. My box score is getting a little. So Danny Bear scored. I don't know where that ball went. God, it is just a beautiful night, though, isn't it, Jim? I have tonight off of work. I worked so much this weekend, but I have tonight and tomorrow off, and no matter what, I'm going to enjoy after the game. I might have a refreshment. I can tell you that, can't I?
Yes.
All right, so here we're back to the top of the order with Kalina.
Well, we just spent a week at the cabin, so I was ready to get home and go back to work.
Oh. Where do you guys have your own family cabin? Or?
Yes, it's in Spicer, Minnesota, on Green Lake.
Oh, now is Spicer out west?
Yeah, northwest. It's close to Wilmer.
Oh, okay. So that isn't too far. 2.5, 3 hours. Not
hour 45.
Boy, you can't beat. Have you had that a long time, or?
It's been in the family my wife's family for about 100 years.
Oh, wow. Well,
It needs some updates, but so it's kind of nice. Will Vanderbilt, who's playing for Edina, his mom and I sat at the coffee shop in Spicer because they have a cabin on the same lake.
Oh, really? You ran into each other?
Yes. I was telling her how bad I thought we were going to beat them, but I guess I misspoke.
Well, not necessarily. If we get the first 2 touchdowns, that third one could come easier.
Well, the thing is, I think what's nice about this, if there's anything to look positive from, you're not going to play much worse than this when you play Edina again. And so if they get a chance to see them in sections and everything settles down, I've watched these guys play in the spring. They can play. They can make the plays. They can play.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's weird, too. It's like I was mentioning last year when we played at Edina on the Tuesday, and then we played Eden Prairie at home on Wednesday. And it was during the emotional time where Derrick, in late May, Aaron had left, and then Derrick got healthy, then he got sick again, and then he passed, and then we won the team won the Hopkins game right after Derrick's passing, and then they had a 4th of July didn't go well in Delano, and then that game was right after. It's the same thing as last year.
Yep.
We played in Edina, I think, won the Delano tournament last year. We didn't win any of the 3 games last year, and then we had a rough game, but that's why I always like playing. That's what I personally, on my end, really like playing baseball a lot more than other sports, because I wanted to, if you have a good experience, you can always salt that away, but if you have a bad one, you get to play a lot, so you can always just try to. So we're going to have another pitching change, and I think this is Parker Stennis who's going to get a chance to pitch here.
I know Parker worked in the gym with us.
Yeah.
Didn't have many opportunities during the high school year. I think he threw in 1 game for us, but he has worked at it. Right.
And he's a good athlete, and, he was a starting quarterback for the football team, and Cole did a nice job pitching. We beat Hopkins last week, and it was a game where Cole had to come in and it went 9 innings, so he threw 5 innings, and then he pulled his hamstring, but I think I think that could be relating to what you were talking about. I think that's maybe something that is going on related to the team too, is that they had been hoping for months that Joe would come back. Well, that didn't happen, and then Hoffman throws 3 innings and he's out for the season,
and didn't play at all in high school.
Right. It's been kind of it's been hard to explain, but it's been really tough emotionally on a lot of the kids who love to play, and just to not really have a full team a lot, and to not have always be healthy or relatively healthy even, or because I know they were really thinking that Burnley and TJ would pitch a lot too.
Well, the one thing I learned with them is they don't quit. They just don't quit.
Well, and I know, like, for example, Parker and Ryan are lucky enough to be getting to play some town team, and they've been really picking up a lot of little things in the game, and you've got a nice group. This is Joe Doran batting.
Yep.
Well, that's good. They're getting another sub in here. They should.
Joe's another good kid. He played freshman ball for me over there, and actually made the jump up from freshman ball to JV before the season was over.
Oh, yeah, that is a big jump. So has he got another year left?
He does.
Okay.
And he had played in a system similar to St. Louis Park. He played at Richfield.
Sure.
In their Little League and Babe Ruth program.
Is he from Richfield then, or?
Yes.
Okay, so he's open enrolled at Edina?
Yes.
Or?
Well, he had. I think he's always gone to school in Edina.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but just lived in, right.
Yep.
I don't know if you got a chance to see Richfield play last year or this year at all, but they had a couple really good ball players last year. The one kid I know had a good game against Edina in the playoffs last year.
That 1-0 shutout.
Yeah, I can't think of his name anymore, but so that was a walk for Dolan, and it'll be the bases are loaded again.
This is Ryan Searles.
And this is Ryan Searles, who I think just batted once so far. He's 0 for 1. It's 1 down here in the top of the 4th inning. Nobody coming here. You could hear a pin drop from both stands because nobody's. It's kind of one of those strange games where even if you're way ahead, you don't even want to applaud when you score any more runs because you don't want to. Because unless you've been through that, I mean, like I said, I've been on both ends of games like this. So
I think if you're a baseball player, you have, no matter where you went.
Oh, yeah. Or if you haven't, you will eventually. I was in a Little League game when I was coaching where we played a team from Brooklyn Center, I don't know, 5 years ago? 47-1 after 2.5 innings. We batted for 45 minutes, 1 inning. It was just so sad. They just couldn't make a play, and then everything that was over the plate was so slow. It's like,
Yeah. Well, I think I told you a story when I pitched in college. I pitched against Kansas Newman, and I use this for all my kids. I let them know it's okay. I held a leadoff hitter to 2 for 3 once, and then I tell them that was the first inning.
Well, it's like I was telling you when I can't remember if I played on 2 teams when I was 17. I played on Legion, and then I played on, I used to have the West Suburban League, and we were playing against one of the Edina teams out, I can't remember, Countryside Park. Here's the only one still in the game of the starters, I think. In English, Mark Hanberg going to bat again. He's 0 for 2 with a walk and a sac fly. Now hit that off the end of the bat, but I think it's going to go foul. But anyway, I was going to say that was the game I remember where we batted for so long that 3 or 4 guys hopped in a car and went up to the convenience store and bought drinks and snacks for the whole team. And the convenience store was like 2 miles away, so we thought, oh, you guys better hurry back because we only had like 10 players. And then luckily we kept batting long enough so they could get That's the only time I've ever been involved in that. So.
Well, a few times. When I played at Concordia St. Paul, we only had 600 students at the time.
Oh, wow. So was it a little community college then?
Nope. No, it was a 4-year school, but we played under the National Little College Athletic Association. And
what was that exactly, the little college?
Well, it was exactly that, little colleges. So if you were 600, you could be...
there was dwarfs there? Or
pretty much.
Midgets?
Yep. Look at me. You see me standing up?
I had to throw that out. Little people. I'm sorry, Paul. All right, that's a fly to center. I don't think the center fielder sees it, but Fromm's got it.
But the thing is, what our coach always believed in is he believed in if we're going to play at this level, we're not going to get any better unless we go out and play better schools. So every Southern trip we took
that must have been cool.
Was against schools that were so much bigger than we were, better than we were, different level than we were. And we take a beating every spring. And we come back, and when we played within our own league, it was almost nothing compared to...
Right. Kind of like... So did you play schools like Mount Scenario?
We did. That was our conference.
Okay, because I remember when McAllister finally won a football game in was it the late 70s or something? And
80s.
They beat her. Was it because they had that really long... So Stennis retires the last 2 batters, and that'll get him out of the inning as he gets Hanberg and Egley. And Hanberg has got to be the only one even remotely upset with his game today. But
well, except he's pitching, so he's probably having a great time.
He's having a great time. He had so many long foul balls anyway. So
it looks like a new pitcher, Jeff Fisher.
Jeff Fisher.
Yep. So he's a senior.
Oh, that's good. It's good, because when they get into like this weekend, if they play, let's say they play tomorrow night, and then they get 5 games this weekend, and if they get to Monday in you know how it is with the Gopher, you can end up playing. I don't know if you wanted to comment on Park's schedule, but this Thursday night's the only off day for 10 days because it's today, tomorrow, 2 on Friday, Saturday, 2 on Sunday, Monday either way, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
That sounds like our high school.
It's every single day, so... Ryan Cohen still got a laugh over there. I hope he's not thinking of renouncing his Legion job. I don't know. Keep him away from sharp objects. You might want to have a quick pick me up with him afterwards.
No, he'll be fine. You have these things that happen. They happen to all of us.
Stay away from sharp objects, Ryan.
So.
See if the Orioles. I don't know who we have on the bench, but I'm sure they're going to put some other guys in the. Park still got to bat 2 more times. Is this, this is Jason Keller. Jason Keller is now batting for St. Louis Park. He was pitching in the Junior Legion game earlier. I think that's right.
Looks like him.
Yeah.
I don't have him on the roster.
He's not there, yeah.
So he's another sophomore. When you look at the team that they're putting out there, for the most part, they're either seniors or a couple juniors are sophomores. And
well, and he's batting for Greenbush here, who came out of the game. I know Curtis is a real competitive person, and I know he probably, you know, was really upset about the game and stuff. But hopefully they'll get through everything. And Stennis on deck. It's supposed to be Greenbush, or excuse me, Keller, Stennis, and that's strike 3. And here comes Parker Stennis batting for the second time. Park went, I think that's just, yeah, they'd only faced 1 over the minimum the first 3 innings.
Yep.
Larson just pitched the first, and then Hamburg the second and third. Heard that nice double play to end last inning on the nice catch by Egley in the throwback.
Well, Jeff, this is all he does. He doesn't play a position. This is all he does. So when he gets his opportunities, I know he appreciates them.
Yeah, oh yeah.
He actually, if I can go back from my son Timmy, Edina hosts a tournament in his honor, in his name.
Oh yeah.
And Jeff was the winning pitcher in the first championship game of the Timmy Nunn tournament.
Oh, okay. So that's good, and he just always has been a pitcher only, but he must obviously love it, and that's not easy to do because then you. It was a nice breaking ball there.
It's easier in the Legion season than it is a high school season because
so
you play so many more games.
Yeah, exactly. So here's Parker. 2 and 3 and 1 to Stennis here.
Yep.
St. Louis Park officially got 1 hit. Lucas Savage. 3-1 count here.
If you watch Jeff, as soon as he gets the ball, he's ready to go. And I know infielders appreciate that.
Oh, yeah, right. There's, especially on a day like today where you batted a long time, but still it's been a long game because of.
So I let Parker had good at bats all year for us. He barely ever wastes a repetition.
Yeah, I think they've been pretty happy with how he's doing on the town team too. He's made some good catches out there. That one sky high pop. The right fielder's going to come in and get that Egley, I guess. All right. Well, good. He was paying attention. So 2 down here, bottom of the 4th. We have to get through 5 because Park's the home team. So unless Park can get 12 or 10, I guess officially we don't know. I have it at 20-0, but.
Well, they're not complaining about it.
I don't think anybody is. It's not the kind of game where you have to. So here comes Fromm. He's 0 for 1 officially. In case you just joined us, Edina scored 9 in the first inning and then has just been adding on since then.
So Jeff is around the plate most of the time. If Ryan can just kind of relax a little bit, we would say during the high school year, guys, when things were not going so well, think middle right as a right-handed hitter. Instead of getting up there trying to kill it, be the spark plug. Think middle right.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's really hard to keep your concentration in games like this, but hopefully when you're batting, you can always. I mean, there's a hit well down the left field line. It is one of the quietest games I've ever been to of any level. Because of the score, I think, too.
Yep. But, you get some players who like Jeff, I'm not sure how much he's pitched this year, but for him, this is...
Yeah, and hopefully he can keep playing town team or other things as he gets older, too,
So has Ryan had his orientation yet?
Yep, he did. Just, 3 weeks ago, I guess.
Okay. Oh, that may
Last
drop
time on
in there.
the breaking ball there as he got it in his hands and a little fly to center there, and that'll retire the side. So 4 complete, and I officially have it as 20-0. I may be wrong, but Paul, don't hold me to that. We're going to step away momentarily. Join us for the 5th and last inning here.
All right, welcome back to Derrick Keller Field. We're starting the top of the 5th inning. Edina has a little bit of a lead over St. Louis Park. Looks like St. Louis Park, Parker Stennis is, no, it looks like we made a pitching change. Is that Cole?
It is Cole Hoyt. I didn't think he could play because of his hamstring, but Cole's going to get an inning where he hasn't pitched in 2 weeks, and he's a kid that probably has the best arm on the whole team because he, but just historically hasn't been able to pitch a lot. He throws so straight over and he gets a little shoulder tired. Well, it'll be good to see him throw an inning. They're going to want him to pitch this weekend, so.
But it's a good sign that he's out there.
Yeah, I guess I'm really surprised. I mean, but good for him. He gets some work in. He's going to UW lacrosse. We should mention, this will be the last game we do before any of these guys are done with school, but Cole's going to UW lacrosse to play some baseball. You mentioned Parker going to Concordia and Ryan's going to South Dakota State. And we talked about the 4 guys off Edina that are going Division I. So this game notwithstanding, you see Kathy Lucas Savage in the background just chatting it up over there. Yeah. Not a lot of fans still here, but
well, Cole can throw. He can.
There's no doubt about that.
He can throw.
There's no doubt about that. And he is really, he's a fast guy. Did you hear how he got hurt in the Edina game on Friday? We should, it was 7-6. Park ended up losing, but he was trying to steal second, and he was going so fast, and he beat the throw. But I guess when he extended his leg on the slide, he extended it too far or something, and just they had to come out of the game right away. So, but I'm so glad to see that he's out there. I hope.
Well, I know he throws so hard, but he's got a wicked curve.
Oh, he does. Like I told you, when we were in 9th grade, he was the 2nd main pitcher, and he threw pretty regular, ahead of Austin,
Okay. Well, he worked as a closer for us at the beginning of the year, and I think he does. He throws so hard, it takes his arm a little bit to recover.
Yeah, exactly. Boy, that's a mile-high pop-up. He just missed that. So it was Mitch Larson. I don't even know if they see it. Was it caught? Wow. That was a mile-high pop.
Now, Derrick Keller Field is kind of like Braemar and Edina. Mm-hmm. A hard part at night games is they keep these lights so low when they.
Oh, yeah, and it goes over the.
It goes over the lights. You can't find them. It's like playing in the dome. Yeah,
that is really rough. Good call. So nice job out there. Is that Parker back in center? Is that Parker back in center? I can't. Having a hard time telling.
I'm not able to see.
Any announcements you want to make about things that for kids that might be watching the game, or things that if they want to get involved in some kind of baseball in the off season in the park, or? Well,
we're starting our planning stages. I think next year through the high school program, we're planning to offer a winter break camp.
Oh, okay.
As well as some preseason training with the high school team in March, and then we'd like to get the summer program up and running for next year.
Sure. And this summer you primarily had, was it 4th through 8th graders this summer? Or Cole with a nice fastball there. Again, 1 and 2. You can see the nice arm he has.
And again, for me, I just think for the kids too that come, we try to keep the numbers low so that there's a good group. Our our training program, spring training program we did this year with the high school.
Nice job by Cole as he recorded. I think that was probably the second strikeout of the game. Bear goes down.
We had all the high school players there, so the kids rotated in groups of 3 or 4.
Okay.
Each station that they went to, they had 1 or 2 high school players there to help with that station, as well as the high school coaches around the whole field house.
Sure.
So, and then of course, then there's other summer or fall programs around.
Oh boy, can kids still get involved in the pine tar program, or is that all filled up? Or?
It's all filled up for this year. The tryouts were held. July 1st was the last one, and the teams are just starting to be formed, and they'll get out after the state tournaments and start practicing.
In August, yeah.
Yeah, but I know for high school kids, we have kids.
Well, and then they still have, you can go through the MYAS Fall League, you can go through the MBT has those 5 Sundays you can play doubleheaders still. And a lot of times the best weather of the year is in September and October, you know, for 70 and sunny, not a cloud in the sky. Ooh, breaking ball off the helmet. You could see the sharp bite that had on it. He's got a whale of an arm. You know, I don't think lacrosse has any idea how. When I brought him down to one of the things last year, he threw harder than any outfielder out of 80 outfielders. He was like 91, and then he got clocked at like 7.1 or something for the 60.
That's good.
And then he ran it again, and he was under 7. You know, so he's a heck of a good athlete.
I think right now you watch him and he's rushing forward.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, you know, Park doesn't really have, one thing that probably would be helpful is to have some type of a Legion assistant coach who's more of a pitching guy, you know, especially when you're not practicing, at least to deal with things in between innings or.
Right. But I think there's a lot of programs that wish they had a good pitching person. We're blessed having Mike Olson.
Oh yeah, this is the first time my son had ever had any kind of pitching instruction really during the season ever, you know. Oh, well, nice job.
Mike was very good. I have to tell you, with this kind of spring, it's easy to overreact as coaches and say, Ryan, we need you to pitch Monday, Friday, Wednesday, Monday, Friday, Wednesday, and Mike being a former pitcher, just know we're protecting arms. We're going to do this right. We're going to make sure the kids are able to play in the spring and in the summer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was. Well, and Joe's a perfect example of that. It would have been really easy to panic with all those games and say, okay, well, let's get him back out there. Or.
Yeah. Now, this is Stevie Kalina. He's one of the starters that are still in the game.
Yeah, I think it's Kalina, Hanberg, and Egley, and Larson, and Bear. There's like 5, but maybe that was pretty much everybody they brought. The subs has probably played, I'm sure. So this is already his 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is his 6th at bat. That one's shot over the second baseman. I think they're just going to hold the runner here. Yeah, could have easily scored, but they don't want him to pad his stats, I guess.
Yeah.
So he's been on he's been on all 6 times. Error to start the game, walk, single, error, single. And this is Joe again, I think.
Is this Joe Doran.
Yeah. He walked last time. He walked the last 2 times. He came in for Vanderbilt earlier in the game. No, there's a nice shot to the gap too. Nice job by Henstein, just gonna stop that. Nice run scoring single that time though. Hit really well. So Joe gets a nice RBI on that and adds to his total. That guy came around and scored. I apologize, Jim. I kind of lost track here.
That's all right.
You're not
your
gonna
sandwich.
You're not gonna force me to go through this entire scorebook and check my errors. All right?
Aren't you gonna do that at the end?
As a teacher, you're not gonna say. Okay, and this is Ryan Searles.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember Searles and I'm trying to think who else. Searles, Bear, Erdahl, a bunch of them. Hoppner. I remember played Little League. That is going to barely go foul, but he put a nice bit of aluminum on that. I'm going to wrap my sandwich.
I think you can tell the importance. That's one of the better things about the high school season is even if the weather is bad, we're inside a gymnasium and the pitchers can bullpen. and they can keep their arms in shape. Now, one of the things, we're not going to see a Cole Hoyt throw as hard in the spring as he can now, because he's going to be stretched out a little bit better. You know, but you have a chance to keep your arm in shape.
Yeah.
And I think one of the first things to go is location. Here, Cole's been high with just about everything. Ryan was a little high with everything. So
a lot of rushing, and yeah,
well, pitchers need that consistency to keep their arm in shape.
Well, and a lot of times too, when Jim talks about rushing too, a lot of times if you watch these guys pitch, when he says they're rushing, a lot of times they're landing. A lot of times their front left plant leg is actually landing, and they haven't even brought through their arm on the backside, where you want to try to ideally time it pretty in syncs. But I tell you, in Cole's case, if it's fine if he throws it hard and high and they swing at it, yeah. Nice breaking ball. Yeah, see, exactly. I just think lacrosse, when, you know, as a Division III school, when they see him, if he gets a chance to throw it all by the time he's a sophomore, I mean, you know what I mean. A lot of Division III schools don't have guys throwing in the mid-80s or upper 80s, you know.
Right. I think they're going to fall in love with his speed.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just has a, you know, we're looking at our three potential outfielders for the high school team next year, all being juniors.
Right.
And with all juniors and the amount of speed that they've shown this summer, I mean, we're looking at, we would say anything with a hump is going to get caught.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. I know.
It's amazing what that does for your pitching staff.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and you know, when Joe was healthy behind in right, and he's so competitive. So you got to love that about him. He's just like, right, it doesn't matter what the score is. He's just gonna.
But for his team, this pitch is the pitch. Don't try to strike him out. Try to throw a strike.
There you go. There you go. Nice job, Cole. So that's really a highlight of the game for sure for the Orioles, that he got an inning. They're gonna need him if they have any chance, you know, in future games. And
well, it was good to see. It was a surprise to me. I know. I said, "Is that Cole?" I started looking at rosters.
And it's been, you know, it was hard for me to, as you being a new coach, not having seen these kids in, you know, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th grade, but I've known all along what kind of arm that kid has and what competitive he is, and I knew when you didn't have, you know, Joe and whatnot, that if he could have been a little healthier or pitched a little more, and he tried. So. Yep.
Well, we like I said, I learned a lot about the seniors this year. I learned about what great kids they are. I learned about how their work ethic and how accepting of each other they were. But I also got a chance to learn about our future.
Yeah.
And I don't have as many questions coming into next year as I had coming into this year.
Yeah. Except for if the weather will be nicer.
Oh, no.
You've got a plan of attack. Now, what do you think you'll do if you get similar weather again next spring? What's your philosophy?
What's my philosophy?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it'll be my last year coaching.
So much for fun.
I hate to say it.
Yeah, that was just bizarre beyond belief. I know.
But you know, one of the best things we did with our group this year, I thought, was as the rain kept coming and we kept staying inside, we took a night off and we went to see Jackie Robinson's movie 42.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they really enjoyed that. It's such an educational part of, you know, the teacher part of you showing them that. And
I think you get a chance to appreciate the game. You don't.
Well, and this is a good example, you know, except for when we played Cooper this year, almost all the teams you play, you never see any minority players. I mean, we've got Joe and, you know, a couple, but you just don't see very many in Minnesota or a lot of the country. That's a big push, and a lot of times it's easy for kids to forget that or not realize that. Or
well, it was a great opportunity for us to get away from the field and have a little bit of fun as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Especially on a season like that. And I'll never forget those seniors, you know, so looking forward, raising money to go on their trip to Kansas, and it snows, 8 inches 2 days before you go. You couldn't even get out of town for the weather.
The night before we could cancel the bus, it snowed.
That was, remember we were on it, Nancy and I were driving down to Branson.
Yep.
I know.
See, right here, this is kind of part of the 23 to 22 to nothing game. You're coming up there, you're trying to pull the ball. And this is where we go back and try to take a deep breath and think middle right, middle right, middle right. Don't ruin your mechanics.
Right.
Think middle right.
Well, in terms of the right part, Mitch is walking to his right towards first base.
That's right.
So that's at least good. And that'll bring up Jake Lukasavich, who has the only hit of the day. And that was way back in the second inning. So it's been 3 innings since he's batted, too. So you can see that one fouled away.
Well, Edina's pitchers have done a good job of staying within the zone. You know, a lead helps you with that.
Right. Yeah, I think that was only the second walk, and they were both to Mitch today. So.
Jacob's got a good swing.
Yeah. I know he was hard on himself about how this season went, but he's got a big, strong physique, and he'll work hard at it, I think. I think he really wants to play baseball, you know, and I think he's a kid you can really expect and try to push to, you know, and say, hey, I want you to run some captains and things like that. And
well, we don't have a lot of seniors.
Right.
You know.
Well, that's one of the challenges you have, too, is you actually did have a lot of seniors. Just like this senior group, there was another 5 kids that played, but we lost several of those kids just after 9th and 10th grade. And that's one of the challenges you have, too, is that those, you know, because lacrosse has really grown in popularity at Park and they've done well as a club sport, I think that's potentially been tough, too, to try to, you know, here's Martin Schlegel. I'm glad he's going to get an at-bat here. He's a young man who's written this will be his last at-bat of his television career, probably, unless he goes national.
Yeah.
He's going up to Moorhead State. You know, he's been writing a blog for the Cincinnati Reds for 2 years on a website. Yeah, he really loves the game of baseball, and I'm glad he played this year. I didn't know for a long time if he was going to, and
well, he was out for a while with an injury.
Yeah.
Missed most of the tryout part, but he shared times with Joey Jaramillo.
Yeah.
They played second base when either Ryan or Austin pitched.
Right. Well, and he really loves the game a lot, you know, and that's
one of the things I learned with him. I think every at-bat went to 3-2.
Yeah. Let's hope this one does. He's 1-2 right now. Well, he got a good cut in there at least, and I know he's going to feel good about that. So that's 2 out, and this will bring up who I like to call the Disco Man, Danny Fultz. Disco Danny. I love that long flowing hair he's got. Now, he's going to be a big part of the football team this year. Have you heard anything about whether they're still trying to get Lukasavich to be Mr. Everything on the football team?
I have not. I know I know they sent an email asking to have an opportunity at practice to introduce themselves.
Sure. Yeah, because the new coach is at the junior high, right?
Right. I sent back that it'd be great if we could have a practice.
Well, and
the weather didn't let us.
Well, and I know you and I talked about this during the end of the school season, but I'm hoping down the road that we can, and I know I'm not asking you to help, but I'm hoping at some point we could get the wrestling program restarted to help as a means to try to help the football team as well too, and to give some of our bigger linemen something to do in the winter because they've just been sitting around a lot, you know, and it's been a problem.
The sport's changed, so it's not like you're going to send us a 200.
Yeah.
As a wrestler, you're not going to send us a 260-pound heavyweight and get back 190-pound.
Right.
You know, kid. There's safeguards put in place so that coaches cannot be obnoxious about losing weight.
Well, and the nice thing and I always thought about wrestling at a school like Park is, unlike the bigger schools that have bigger enrollments where you might have dozens of kids, you know, there's kids playing linebacker at Park for football that'll be starting at 160, 170 pounds in linebacker, and they'll love to adapt those skill sets to some of those mid-level weight classes too, you know. And as the Disco Man gets hit in the calf, and he won't be doing any discoing later tonight, I don't think.
Yeah.
It's a little joke
I think
there.
this is Andrew's first at bat.
Yeah, Andrew Henstein getting to bat. So good for him. He stayed around for both games, and his dad has been operating the scoreboard and probably getting tired of pushing numbers. So.
Well, he's had a half an inning off every one.
We can say that, right?
It's been that type of game.
Andrew a little late on that cut. Just noticed he's got a white bat. You don't often see all white like that. You know, aren't bats funny compared to 30, 40 years ago? God, I remember we had like 3 bats and everybody passed them around. That's going to do the game here. Strike 3 called on Jaramillo. And the totals on the board are incorrect.
Yes.
But we think it's pretty similar to that. I just want to thank Paul and the crew. Paul, you might not get a lot of St. Louis Park fans ordering a copy of this game, but let's put up the phone number or graphic if you do want to get a copy of this game or others. You can always go to ParkTV.org. Jim, you know that. You can watch the replays as well. You can also call Paul if you have any feedback about the Crack announcing staff. We hope we were able to find ways to entertain you with stories tonight because the game was not the story. You call Paul's number 952-924-2635. I also just want to throw a shout out that they are still in need of interns and other people to help. If you want to even just ever get involved and help, they're hoping to do a one of the Little League games next week, and we do a lot with football and volleyball. So it's a beautiful night out here. Unfortunately for the Orioles, it didn't go that way. But if you get a chance, come on out and see Park before the season ends. And on behalf of head coach Jim Nunn, good night.
Thanks.
And have a pleasant tomorrow.